Hi everyone, welcome to Q&A session. Hi everyone, welcome to Q&A session. Uh, in this today's session, I'm going to answer the most asked questions, and the questions I picked from the emails. I'm going to answer them. Your email might not be here on this session, but it's okay. I'm going to answer them a bit later after this session. So let's start with the most asked questions. But before that, I need to make sure about the screen fits in terms of resolution. Yeah, that's great. Okay, we are recording. Voice is okay. Okay, great. So the most asked questions uh, I got in the last weeks, in the last a couple of the weeks, the counting inside candles, the first most asked question, and the second one is about the bias one. So I can start with the second one because it's a bit easier to explain, and I think it's going to take shorter. So many people have been asking me about how we can know it's bullish or bearish at specific timings when we counting the candles. So most of the time I can say that 7 is not for the reversal most of the time. 7 is for continuation the most of the time. And the reversal part uh, comes to play at 13 and 21. 21 is where the news cycle begins most of the time. I can say 90% of the time. But 13 is not always when the news cycle begins. 13 is an exact reversal most of the time. Uh, of course, there are some special cases where price is being delivered from a specific time and price to another the time and price point. And in this time zone, you're going to observe that price rallies constantly without retracements or very little retracements, shallow retracements, not harsh and violent ones. And in this special cases, you're going to see that 13 or 7 won't give you retracement or new expansion. So you're going to see many candles uh, closing, opening below or opening a certain point and closing above constantly. Let's say 10 candles in a row. You're going to see that, observe. Once time and price is matched with another instance. We've talked about this before in the videos. So once you observe that, you won't anticipate retracement or reversal at these timings, which is 7 and 13. But if you don't have this special case in that time, then what you should anticipate, what you need to anticipate should be a reversal at 13 and continuation at 7. This is uh, this is what your understanding would be. So in this with this understanding, then you can easily know if your bias is bullish or bearish. But don't forget that uh, you need to count multiple time frames for that. If you don't count multiple time frames, it's hard to anticipate if it's bullish or bearish. So once you gather different time frames, counting, counting inside time expansions by ignoring distortions and contractions, you're going to have this idea. So you're going to know uh, if you should be bearish or bullish. And sometimes it's very okay to get stopped out and recalibrate your bias, understanding how cycles are shifted, or maybe they won't be shifted. You need to observe sometimes. Sometimes it's better to count in the future like that. So this is monthly chart: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, 12, and 13. As you see, 13 is February for next year. So this line is presenting this here. So you're going to know that there is going to be a different cycle here. Now, what I anticipate is a bullish move right now for the current market condition. But when the time is come here on the February, everything can change, and what you're going to see should be like this, or maybe this. We're going to see that as this time, as we approach this time period. Why? Because I marked this line based on monthly chart, but I don't know how weekly candles will be formed as we approach this monthly time period, or let's say time zone, as I previously taught you in the last video. We can observe like a first week here, and maybe 13 week here, and 21 here, or maybe it's going to be different. We don't know yet. This can be like that. So we need time for that. But when time comes here, we're going to have 13th month. So this 13th month can be matched with 21 consistent up weeks, down weeks. We're going to see that. So that's why it's hard to anticipate for that moment right now. But I'm sure that until this time comes, I anticipate this move. But this is how I approach. So based on the question, this is how I calibrate my bias based on these numbers. If I need to be bullish or bearish, vice versa. So let's look at the first most asked question here: counting inside candles. Many people told me that, Morpheus, you sometimes count inside candles and sometimes not, or you count inside candles differently every time. Why? Now I need to explain this here. In every method there are some rules. So for a mentor or teacher to teach some things to their students, to his students, you need to create some rules, and I do that too. But at some to a point, this time dilation theory is directly linked to how universe works. So everything is not directly linked to a rule. Sometimes you need to be flexible, and you need to know how flexible you can be. Sometimes the flexibility level of you should be more. and sometimes should be less. And this comes with experience. And that's why I sometimes don't count that candles accordingly. And in some cases, I change my perspective and I mostly focus on the classic counting. And I say that, okay, we have let's say 10 candles here, and I can say I think I should anticipate three more candles, which will be closed as inside candles, and then I'm going to anticipate the reversal at 13. This is how time contraction occurs. I told you before. So based on that, sometimes I change my counting, because before the move happens, we exactly don't know when and how a reversal or a retracement or expansion will be formed. That's why we need to take a reference point first and creating an anticipation. And as we approach that time or that target time, or maybe not exactly target, maybe time zone, time interval. So as we approach that time interval or time-based target, we need to be aware of how lower time frames are weaved by the algorithm. And based on that, we can anticipate the next moves. And once everything are aligned perfectly, then I can say that, okay, reversal is going to be happen at that candle at this time. But before that, I can only anticipate a time interval. So let me show you an example here. So in some cases, I can say that I randomly, by the way, I randomly mark these lines, by the way. So don't try to count and try to find the logic here. I randomly did that. So let's say we anticipated the time period here. Back in time, by the way. So I anticipate the time period here. And as time approached there, sorry, it was so fast. let, me, let me start it again. As the time approaches that interval, then I can say that, okay, first, in the first case, I anticipated a time interval like this, and as the time and price approach that area, I can recalibrate, or I can anticipate more precisely. So I can say that maybe, okay, first I anticipated this, but I know that as the time and price approaches here, now my anticipation is that line in the time axis. So I can say that's why I change my counting, and I do that. I do it differently in some cases. But you know that I can easily say that this expansion is very clean. Everyone here cannot deny that this expansion and and the reversal as well. Nobody can say this is not clean. It's clean for the most of the eyes. But here, then it's a bit changing. So cases like this, definitely a time contraction counting, which is inside candle counting, should be done. Should be paid attention. But in cases like in some cases like here, okay, these are inside ones too. But as you see, there's a little stop in time and price here compared to this area. So this comes with experience as you count candles from your backtesting sessions and from your front from your front test. Uh, Maybe you don't know what front test is. Let me explain. You know what backtesting is. Front testing is like when, let's say, price is live right now. Front test is something like uh, many people do that on Twitter. Let's say I'm opening a short here. I'm putting my stop, putting my TP. Yeah, this is front test. You're not executing a trade here. You're just doing with a live price action. By the way, it's now replay tool. We're back testing right now. But when you do this live, it's front test. So technically, you don't take trade, but you just put the trade short or long tool here, and to see if your anticipation is correct or not. This is front testing. So first you start with back testing, then front testing accordingly, and then a pattern recognition in your mind will be there as you practice. But the best useful thing is executing in live condition. This can be a demo account or a live account. It doesn't matter. It's always to trade in demo account compared to back testing or front testing. As you do this in practice, your eyes uh, will know that when to count that consolidations, or I mean contractions on higher time frame. So you also know that a few consistent time contractions creates the distortion. So many people here know that. I believe that many people here can easily count the distortions because distortions is generally longer than contraction uh, when you open up your chart. This contraction and distortion things are actually behind the charts. You don't see them on the charts. You just see uh, the candles as they are printing, as they are being printed. But that's not what's happening behind the scenes. But we see a consolidation as a reflection of what's happening behind. So, as I previously said, that uh, counting distortions is easy most of the time for most of the individuals. Although uh, uh, they're a bit longer than the time contractions. But as I said, your eyes going to be trained as you practice, and you're going to know that when, how, where counting the contractions, or I mean inside candles or not. So this is my answers for the most asked questions here. I hope everything is clear and everything has been clarified for you. And if not, please send me email and ask your questions again. You can ask the same questions again over and over again. It's okay. Always feel free to. I'm sorry. Always feel free to ask me on the emails. Uh, I have lots of DMs, answered and unanswered DMs on my Telegram. So now, if you send your questions via email, I can easily check and archive that questions. Okay, so by the way, let me check. Okay, how many people are there? Okay, 55. Okay, so I picked some questions from the emails. so I'm going to answer them. I picked a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 questions. I picked 5 questions. Okay. I wanted to go over counting on Ethereum. I began counting 4-hour candles after an expansion to the downside. I entered short on the 7th candle after a stop short of FVG. You're probably talking about this FVG. I had a hard time determining where to place stop. The 8th hourly candle went above the 7th, and I got nervous and collapsed my trade. Since then, price has delivered exactly how I was expecting. Yeah, your counting is great. This is what you sent me on the attachments. Uh, and this is for our chart. Maybe you also did daily counting, I don't know. But the counting is great here because you picked the candle which made the reversal. And by the way, there are some contractions here. So 1, 2, 3. Normally, if price kept falling down, I prefer counting this candle, but it didn't. So, and it's also inside candle. The previous high and low, the high and low of the previous candle is here, and this is definitely inside candle. But as I said, if this downside move kept clean here, and if it continued to downside, then I would be ignoring this inside candle, and I prefer counting the classic, our classic counting. I would choose that. But in this case, it didn't, so I should be. This should be in my attention. So 1, 2, 3, 3 again. I don't count. 4, 5, 6, and 7. But let's say, by the way, this should be 7. But let's say you did wrong. Let's say you did wrong, and you counted this candle as 7. That's okay. That might happen. But your stop loss here should be based on lower time frames, I believe. If you don't use lower time frames, this is 4-hour chart. Let's say you're going to take a trade here, only based on only a 4-hour chart. Let's say you took a short here. I think your stop loss at least should be above the 50% equilibrium of the FVG. This is also thought by ICT. ICT did that sometimes. I saw that in the past. In the cases like this, your stop loss should not be tight, should be wide and open. So your trade should have a place, a space to breathe. Okay, but if you count the lower time frames here, like 1-hour chart, 15-minute chart, then your stop loss placement would be different and should be different as well, because by counting the lower time frames, you're going to know how and when this consolidation on lower time frame end, and then you can pick the next candle, which is the 8th candle, as you told me in the email. So your stop loss management shouldn't be based on one time frame only. Once you gather all the time frames, your stop loss placement, management, everything, your trade management as well, everything will be easier. So I highly recommend you to use lower time frames for higher time frame trade, for the stop loss placement for the higher time frame entry. But I want to resave some things. Uh, let's say Morpheus, I don't want to use lower time frames here. I prefer taking my trade using 4-hour chart only. Then what you should do is taking your trade here and putting stop 50%, 50% or above of the FEG. This can be done and good. But personally, if I were you and taking the trade here, my stop loss would be would be placed here. This is my choice. Yes, this can reduce my risk reward ratio, but I can take more risk. This is how I approach the risk management. If I'm not sure um, how much price expand against me, against my take trade, then uh, I should use wide stop loss by risking my risk reward ratio. But in order to compensate that the difference, I can a bit increase my risk. So let's say I take 1% risk per trade, and I can take, let's say, 1.5% in that trade using wide stop loss, wider stop loss, but risking a bit more. Or as I said, or I can count lower time frames and trying to find a better entry. Uh, 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 while syncing with the multi-time frame sequence together. So let me check if I missed something on your question. Yeah, I think I did great. Okay, let's see the next question. Okay, how do you arrive at bullish or bearish buys as it relates to your counting methodology? I explained this here because this question is the most asked question. But here, what I want to show you with his question is not this first question. Actually, I would like to focus more on the other questions of him. So these are the sequences, and he's asking about that. The first one is, n power 2 minus n minus 1 sequence, which is 1 3 7 13 21 and so on. And the next one is 1 5 9 17 and 25. The other ones here actually is not something I want everyone to not focus on right now, especially this 3 6 and 9. 3 6 and 9 thing is very rare in the market. I just share some things about that, yes, but currently I don't want my students to focus on and to study about this sequence, because you won't find some rational things, let's say rational things in the market. You won't find a good things, good examples, samples, let's say data by using this sequence in the market, even if you backtest or front test or live trade, doesn't matter. So please ignore this sequence for now. As I start to teach more with details in the next month or so, then we can start do some things with these sequences, the third one and fourth one. So please focus on the 1 and the 2, the first and second sequences I've already taught you about. So let's read this question. Are these all the numbers we have to be aware of? Yes, as I said, the first and second one, and please ignore the third and fourth for a while. These two sequences, hastened and delayed candle, and the most perfect sequence. The most perfect, the Holy Trinity sequence is 369, but as I said, please ignore that sequence for a while until I teach and I give details about that. What happens when we see variations in how these numbers appear? For example, 1, 5, 7, 17, 21. Does stuff like this happen, or we are always looking for perfect order? If the order is perfect, then time is expanding. So everything is countable, and your countings will have high hit rate. So you can easily take trades in and out, taking day trade scalps in and out easily when every order is perfect like this. Sorry, like in the first and second one, not like this, because it's not perfect. As you see, it's not 25, it's 21 here. So there's a delaying or hastening phenomenon happening here. This is not what we want to see every time. If these numbers are converging or diverging, and then you should know and anticipate that these things are changed in that condition. So it's always to wait for the perfect order. Once you get the perfect order, your win rate with my time dilation theory will be so high. And so most of the trades you take won't get stopped out if you seek for the perfect order in the sequences. But if you're advanced student, by experiencing a lot with back test, front test, and live trades, and then your eyes, as I said, your eyes will get trained, and you're going to be able to see and anticipate these contractions, I mean hastening and delays. Then you're going to know that how these sequences works like a chain. So let me explain this here in the on the chart. Let's say this is a sequence on any time frame. It doesn't matter. You know, the time and price is completely fractal. Okay, these are the sequences. Here I put them down, and here is the example. So you can observe this sequence in any time frame, but the third consequent, I mean, what is called in English, I forgot. uh, just let me check. Okay, sorry, I'm sorry. um, a component, yeah, component, we can say component, yeah. So we have the component of the sequence, the third component of the sequence uh, here. I forgot 7 here. Just a second. Yeah, the fourth component of this sequence is 13. But this fourth component of this sequence can be creating a chain in different time frame. And that chain sequence can be started with the second sequence 159. But 13, the reason I used dots here is because 13 is in between 9 and 17 here. That's the reason I use dots. So same thing here. It starts here, but they can be converged or diverged. So your sequences can be changed like this. These sequences populates a time intervals like ICT said in 2022. So once you understand these how these chains uh, work together, then you're going to know that how you can count those. But it's hard to do that with eyes, to be honest, on the charts with the candles. So that's why I say I know more than the counting the candles. But counting the candles is the easiest way to teach to people. That's why I chose that. But this is the reason. Let me get back to your question to know if I missed some things. Yeah, to take trades with high win rate, you always need to wait for the perfect order. But if the order is not perfect, uh, you can have some choices. First, you can stop trading and focusing on the market, observing the time and price by not taking trades. If you are a beginner or intermediate TDT trader, but if you're advanced by learning what I showed you since we had started the TDT bootcamp, then you can understand these sequences, uh, how they are formed. So fourth component of this sequence can start other sequence on any time frame, or 21 can do that too, but most of the time 21 do that compared to 13. 13 doesn't start new cycles most of the time, 7 as well, but 21 do that most of the time. So that's why I say 21 should be your focus for those cycles to change. And remember, I say 10 candles or 20 candles counting for the consolidations. Remember that. That's important. That's why we focus on 20 and 21, because cycles are changed most of the time after 20. And maybe you can remember the data range of ICT. That's the relationship, the relation in between the ICT's data ranges and my time dilation theory. If the data ranges help me a lot to find and understand these things. Maybe you heard about the ICT's if the data ranges, uh, but it's the most underrated ICT concepts ever. Many people don't pay attention to that, but I extracted many things. ICT dropped many hidden gems with the IPTA data ranges. So this is how I started to find things and understanding time. IPTA data ranges is my starting point just before I created my time dilation theory. That's why it's important. 21, 42, or 63. This is the cycles. This is when cycles are changed. Okay, I don't want to make everything complex, but this is how you should dive deep into my time dilation theory. But I kindly want you to remember that everything doesn't have to be perfect in your trading. But when it comes to this sequence and numbers, everything should be perfect for the high win rate trades. Of course, you can focus on these things, trying to learn, trying to figure it out. But your first priority is to be profitable trader, right? After you get some payouts from prop firms, or after you gain some profits in your account, in your broker, in the live account, uh, as your life becomes easier financially, then your mind will be free. So you're going to feel better, and you're going to invest more time into these things, understanding these things. So my recommendation is definitely focusing on these two sequences and uh, trying to wait for the sequences to be perfect in a perfect order, then taking your trades with high win rate. I hope everything is clear here. I hope I have made clarification for your questions. So let's look at the new one here. New question: are the sequences related to ICT logo? Yes. My starting point is ICT's logo. My starting point was ICT's logo, and if the data ranges back in 2022. This is the starting point for me. But you know, ICT's logo is created by arcs, and the relationship in between the arcs is Fibonacci sequence, nothing more than that. And ICT also accepted that and told us that this is the Fibonacci sequence in my logo. So there is nothing more than the Fibonacci sequence in ICT's logo, only arcs and Fibonacci sequence, that's all. But ICT's logo should lead you to find more. That's how I started. Which candles had the greatest probability of a trend reversal, or which combination of classic or resume counts is most likely? 7 is for continuations most of the time. There are some special cases of where 7 creates a reversal, and I'm going to teach the 7 reversal model in TDT models. 7 reversal model is the third model I'm going to release, and this 7 model is very beneficial for turtle soup trades, by the way. You can easily take turtle soups with 7 model, which is the third model of TDT models, and I'm going to teach that. But most of the time, as I said, 7 is not for reversal most of the time. 7 is continuation most of the time. 13 is for reversal or sometimes continuation if this 13 on any time frame is in between, let's say, 13 and 20 in other time frame. This is the question I had asked on the Telegram channel. Maybe you remember that question. Let's say we're going through 13, from 13 to 21 in any time frame, and here as we go through 21, this is what might be happening on lower time frame. Is time and price going from 13 to 20? Let's say daily chart, and let's say this is 1 hour chart. Then, if this move is happening, uh, let me draw in a price. Now this is the red one, okay? Let this be a blue one. Now we are going through 21 from 13 here on the red one daily chart. And on the 1 hour chart, we're going to observe 1, 7, 13 and 21. So in this case, why would someone anticipate a reversal on 13? I hope you understand. This is how we should approach to this. So blue one here, blue 7 here, blue 13 here, and blue 21 here. So why would this be a reversal? Why would this move happen? Why? So I hope you understand. So that's why you should anticipate a new expansion through the 21 in time. And reversal is here, and this is the new expansion. So this is when you shouldn't anticipate a reversal at 13, a continuation on 13. But you know, time and price is completely fractal, so you can zoom in, and say that at this point is a reversal too. Yes, this point is a reversal too. If you change your perspective, this is how you should be thinking. Every move in the market is expansion, reversal, and retracement at the same time. Every reversal can be expansion, and every expansion can be a reversal when every retracement is a reversal and every retracement is an expansion at the same time. So once you perceive everything fractally, then this approach will be easier for you. I hope everything is clear for you here. So let's check this question. Okay, do you count only on the continuous adjusted charts, or do you count both individual contracts and continuous? You're probably asking for the futures contract, if I'm not mistaken. I actually don't pay that much attention to that while counting futures chart. I don't pay attention to that at all here. There is a gap here because of the contract changing. I prefer having it adjusted, by the way. Yes, I prefer having it adjusted. Yeah, I don't pay attention to that gaps, to be honest. while counting. And even if I use some PD arrays of ICT, I would I would not prefer having this gap on my chart. I just ignore. In terms of ICT concepts, I don't know if it's true or not, because I don't know what ICT has been doing or has been teaching since 2022. But before that, ICT didn't teach something like that at all. Yes, he taught us about that in the past, but he didn't pay much attention to that gaps at all. But in the recent years, he does that. But as I said, I have not been following him at all since 2022, so I don't know in terms of that. But in terms of my TDT, you can use your futures chart being adjusted without those gaps. As the time contract, as it contracts change, as the time as the contracts are changed. How can you apply the sequences with something like stock, S&P, and Nasdaq? Do you only use daily, weekly for counting? For the stock market trading, first, I don't have experience in trading stocks at all. Based on my geography and region, it's hard to open a futures account for me, and I didn't do research about how I can open futures account, and I didn't feel the need of opening a futures account, to be honest, because CFD brokers has been enough for me for the long time. I'm okay with CFD brokers, and in the CFD brokers I trade Nasdaq, S&P 500, and other things as a CFD contract, and I'm okay with that. So I didn't trade stocks before at all. So I can say some things about trading stocks for my time dilation theory. It definitely works there because TDT works on all the asset class, on all the assets. I use counting on the indices, but as I said, I don't have experience in stock. But you can do that. But in the stock market, on the lower time frames, I think everything looks meaningless to me. If you ask me, this is my personal opinion. So that's why counting on lower time frames on stocks cannot be useful at all. But sticking to 4 hour, a daily and weekly, and monthly if needed is enough. You can take swing trades with that. You can invest in certain stocks you picked from your portfolio based on counting, based on weekly and monthly counting. You can take great trades as a position trade, as an investment, or as a swing trade. I don't know how you do that, but you can do everything with that. But lower time frames shouldn't be looking good that much. How do you deal with gaps when counting? Yeah, I ignore the gaps while counting because focus on the teachings. Remember the teachings I have done so far. Time distortion and some time contractions actually in the gap in the time axis, but we don't see them as gaps. I only deal with the gaps on the time axis. I don't even try to deal with the gaps on the price axis. I ignore them. Basically, I ignore them. I do nothing about that. I have read Guns Tunnel Through the Air several times, but I have not yet grasped many of the hidden things. Can you perhaps share or give some hints of the things you have found? Uh, I have already been doing that. My time dilation theory uh, was created from the experience of me, and this experience came from Gun, came from other authors, from 1880s books, from ICT, from Gun, even from Wyckoff, even from any other known old traders. Uh, there is there are many things to learn from that old books. So there is no specific thing I found. I found many things. Tried to decipher what what is being uh, what is being taught in those books. But I created an entire system with what I deciphered from these books, from these authors, and then I created my theory. This is how I did that. So I cannot give you a specific hint, but I've been already giving you many since I have started teaching my time dilation theory. I'm trying to find, yeah, these ones. Even this thing itself, I have been teaching almost an hour. This is the all things, at least a portion of them. Sorry, not all things. It's a portion of them. Uh, this is these are from the Gun, from the other 1880s books. But I tried to make everything aligned properly and created the entire system, like ICT did. ICT did the same thing. He learned many things from the books. And let me give you an example about that. ICT's has ICT has a weekly profile teaching. Maybe you heard about that. Uh, if you are familiar with ICT teachings, the weekly profile thing. Tuesday, high or low of the week. Wednesday, reversals, many more. ICT found out these things from the Gun, because if you checked for Gun's teachings, you definitely know that weekly profiles is from Gun. ICT learned these weekly profiles from Gun, but ICT created many more because there are more. But Gun thought like a 3 or 4 profile, but ICT thought us more, depending on the current market environment in the last 10 years, 20 years. So ICT did that. ICT did a great thing, teaching these old concepts, making these everything in a one theory, one entire system. So I did the same for my time dilation theory. Basically, this. I hope these answers covered your the main idea of your question. And the last question. First, is the sequence number in high time frame and lower time frame important? Yes, definitely. Sequences on higher time frame and lower time frame important. As you may approach a higher time frame number while lower time frame time distortion. So this time distortion can take up to 20 candles, and this is the rule of consolidation counting. So you can gather these things from the lower time frame and from the higher time frame together to know in what time interval you're going to have the reversal. And as the time and price approach that level, you're going to know exact time target when the reversal happen, when the reversal is going to happen. Uh, so of course you need lower time frames and higher time frames together. For example, if the higher time frame sequence is 7, should I also prefer using 7 in the lower time frame? No. 7 to 7 is not a must. Uh, Market conditions always change. Higher time frame sequence number 7 is likely a continuation or high time frame. So on the lower time frames, it's more likely a reversal. This is what you should anticipate. So you should focus more on 13 and 21 over 7. Second question, is the order of sequences from higher time frame to lower time frame? Isn't the same question, or did I get wrong? Is the order of sequences, okay. Yeah, it's important. This is what I showed you here. Uh, there are different sequences happening at the same time. They are like chains, and these are how the algorithm populates time intervals accordingly, and you get that on different time frames. So of course the order is important, but orders may change, as I previously taught you and showed you here. So sequence is important, and this is how you should anticipate and you should understand. For instance, should I always start with the first sequence on daily, then move to 4 hour and then 1 hour? Yes, you can do that. This is the easiest approach. While counting, you should start with daily, weekly, daily, monthly, and going into 4 hour, 1 hour, and even maybe 50-minute chart, depending on you'll take day trades or maybe swing trades. But you can do the exact reversal of what you do here. You can start on 1 hour to 4 hour to know what's happening around these time fractals, and then going into daily and gathering all these things together. Then you get the idea, you get the bias, you got the information to anticipate if there is a consolidation happening around here after 2 days, 3 days. Should I anticipate a consolidation or not? Or should I anticipate a reversal at that day, at that specific day or not? These ideas can be extracted from counting daily to 1 hour or 1 hour to daily. And while doing that consistently, as I said, your eyes is going to be able to see and spot these things quickly. And then you're going to anticipate consolidations, time distortions, whatever. You're going to anticipate more easily and more quickly as your eyes are trained. Or does the lower time frame sequence need to be contained within the higher time frame sequence candle? Yes. As we approach to specific numbers on higher time frame, lower time frame most of the time should be contracted or distorted depending on the current condition. And counting this distortion can give a clue about if the higher time frame sequence is delayed or hastened. This is important. Please listen to me again carefully. If you start counting on lower time frame as we go through the specific important number on higher time frame, this will give us a clue on if the higher time frame sequence is delayed or hastened. This is how they're like a chain. So lower time frame sequence can haste or delay the higher time frame sequence, or sometimes the reverse exact reverse opposite of this happen. So in this case, you know that consolidation ends on lower time frame and reversal or expansion begins. This is how ICT's power of 3, also known as accumulation, manipulation, and distribution occurs. Accumulation, manipulation, and distribution of ICT, power of 3, comes to play here as you combine higher time frame and lower time frame countings. Your higher time frame counting normally would be here on the time axis, but in some cases, as I said, can be here. And you're going to know that, okay, this is how and this is why the sequence is delayed on higher time frame. Like this, you can think like this visually. You can think that like this visually. And you can combine this counting. 1, 5, 7 maybe here, and 13 here. This is lower time frame counting, by the way. But you should be gathering all these things together with the higher time frame, lower time frame relationship. If lower time frame hastes or delays the higher time frame, or higher time frame distorts or contracts the lower time frame. So this is important. Once you're advanced, you're going to know how ICT's power of 3, accumulation, manipulation, distribution happens, and all other things happening, like SMT, power of 3, time of the day, time of the week, even time of the month, and even time of the year. I mean month of the year, basically. Could you please explain the concept of converge and diverge again? Yes, I just explained here already. Here, this is sorry, this part. This is how numbers are converged or diverged as a chain of as a sequence of is a chain of sequence. Yes. Yeah, I already answered these. Yeah, this fourth question is important, guys. If not all sequences align perfectly with swing highs or lows, does that make a setup weaker? Yes. That makes the setup weaker. But once you're advanced reading the contraction, distortion, based on how they someone just sent me a message on I forgot to share my screen. So I'm sorry for that, but I'm recording properly, and I'm sure that I hope you see my screen right now. I thought I started the screen sharing. I'm sorry for that. I've been reading questions here all the time, but I recorded properly, so you're going to watch and see everything here clearly. So I'm reading it again. Does that make the setup weaker? Yes, that makes the setup weaker. But it's always better to wait. It's always better to wait for the perfect order in the sequence. Once you wait for the perfect order in the sequence, then your setups will have higher win rate. And this higher win rate is directly linked to your patience. So most of the people here may have some patient's problems, and that's okay. Uh, when when I was started 9 years ago to trading, I had same issues. But once you are advanced at technicals, these issues related to being patient just disappear. And you understand the market, as you understand the markets properly in terms of time and price, then patience problem disappears. Uh, so you have two options basically. You can just ignore weaker setups, where and when the sequences may change. I mean the time contraction, time distortion thing. But if they are ordering perfectly, you can take the best trade with the high risk and taking your profit at a logical level uh, based on time by counting backwards. It's reverse counting, as I thought you, and you can collapse your trade at take profit by counting backwards, taking high risk uh, in the perfect ordering in the sequence, and this can be your approach in trading with my time dilation theory. Or you can take the many setups, even the weaker ones, by understanding and by advancing at the time contraction and distortion. So once you are advanced at that, you can even be trading inside of the consolidations easily, because you're going to know that when and how that consolidation ends. So your patience levels, your patient can be controlled easily. So you're going to have a big control over your emotions with that, as your technicals are advanced. Okay, so this is the answer to your question. To how should we handle this situation? You can handle with this situation just as I've previously told you. How do you decide which candle to use at the moment? For example, what determines whether you pick 3rd, 7th, 9th, or 13th, etc. Yeah, I also answered this question over the session. Okay, these are the most asked questions, and the questions I wanted to pick from the emails. I hope everything has been clarified for you, and I'm sorry for forgetting about the screen share part. I forgot to share my screen at first, but this time I have recorded properly my screen and my voice as well, so you can watch this record again and again to know, to understand these things. And as I said in this session, I'm not going to take someone here to speak. In the future session, on the next week, I'm going to give my 2 hours or 3 hours of my time in the next session. So in the next session, I'm not going to collect questions from the emails. I'm just going to listen to you by allowing to speak to hear everyone as much as I can do, by the way. I cannot talk to everyone here, it's not possible, but I'm going to do my best in the next session. Everyone have a great day or have a great night. I don't know your time zone, and I'm going to upload this session quickly just after we end the session. Okay, have a great day or have a great night. See you soon.